is that time of the week where we take a look at our Litter Media Game of the Week, and it is Hillsboro at Miami Trace for Friday night. I'm Dan Ramey. He's Mike Smith. Mr. Hand 2 is off to my left, preparing to show you things on the show. For those of you that were with us last week, you know what happened. But if you weren't there last week, people want to know.
To the game?
Yes.
I can't remember who won. Adena won.
I was going to say, do you remember where we were?
Yeah, Southeastern. It was Veterans Appreciation.
It was that, yes. And Adena picked up the win after an exciting opening kickoff.
Southeastern takes it all the way for a score, and it's just amazing how that tempo or that momentum then swings back the other way, with Adena scoring 3 unanswered touchdowns, one of them on a pick 6 of 96 yards.
Lane Williams, I think, had more return yardage than total offense for Southeastern on the night. So it was that kind of a ball game in that respect. We want to take a look at last week's scores for you. May as well start with the SVC. And that looks larger than what I...
That's larger than life.
Did I send you the wrong ones?
You sent me very small pictures, and then when I blew them up, they're a little blurry.
I sent you the wrong ones. I apologize. I have better slides than this.
Okay. This is for those who have trouble reading. The reading impaired, yeah.
This is almost what it looks like when you don't have glasses on. Adena picked up the win over Southeastern. Paint Valley takes Westfall. And Scioto over Huntington. Zane Trace, a winner over Piketon.
That was a close
20. Yeah,
that was a tight one.
This Paint Valley and Scioto duo, it's going to be a showdown. It looks like. I'm not saying that everybody else is out of the race, but right now they are the lead on who's going to run the show in this SVC competition.
Pioneers would object to that.
I'm sure they would,
because they're undefeated in the league too.
And the Warriors would probably have something to say about that, but they have one loss. That's right. So, other games that we have for you include the non-league, and that includes a Hillsboro win, who we will see again, and Miami Trace picking up wins, both of them putting up some big points on the board. Let's see. Wilmington defeated Chillicothe 38-6. Cavaliers still in search of their first win of the season. And Washington Courthouse also suffered a loss. These two will meet at Chillicothe on Friday evening.
Something's got to give there.
Yes, sir. Jackson fell to Ross, and so Jackson has, 3 losses on the season now?
Yeah.
Heading into conference play. Conference play begins for the FAC this week, so you see all the other scores we have to share with you there. On to the next conference. Here we go, the Ohio Capital Conference, Teays Valley. I think some people are surprised they're off to a 2-0 start in the OCC.
And Groveport, who I think was who did we see them that they defeated?
Groveport?
Yeah. Of course, Groveport beating Lancaster 35-7. But somebody we were scouting, I was watching the video of Groveport against that team, and Groveport won. So I'm drawing a blank on that one right now.
Groveport and Teays Valley, I believe, play this week, so maybe that's what it was. Newark picks up a win over Logan, and Pickerington Central appears to be back to Pickerington Central again, taking care of Canal Winchester. The Mid-State League, Logan Elm picks up a win over Fairfield Union. Amanda Clear Creek surprised Circleville, I think, because Circleville was leading that contest, and then here come the Aces. And Bloom Carroll putting up 70 points on the board.
Yeah, that Amanda game, Circleville was up 19-3. Now, Bloom and Logan Elm play each other next week. So if both teams win, it's going to be an MSL Buckeye showdown.
Yes. And is that your early inkling of where you'd like to go next week?
I've already gotten a confirmation from Larry Hergis that if those two teams win, that's where we're heading. And he said, you're in.
Larry's a good man. Thank you, Larry. On to the next conference, which I believe is the SOC, if I'm not saying yes. Waverly suffers a loss. And Portsmouth West picks up back-to-back wins, beating Chillicothe and then Waverly. Wheelersburg gets back on the winning track again, along with Northwest, and South Gallia takes Oak Hill there. In other conference action, TBC, Athens, Wilston, Waterford, and Meigs picking up wins. And in the OVC, Portsmouth, who we only get to see during tournaments now, it seems. Haven't seen Portsmouth for a long time on a regular season basis, but saw them play at Zane's Trace here a couple of years ago. Rock Hill picked up the win over South Point, and Fairland takes Gallia Academy. So that's what we looked at for week number 5. But here we are, across the midway point, jumping into week number 6.
Yeah, going back to that Athens team, they're still undefeated. They've not lost. So
I don't think it's been like that since the Joe Burrow days.
When I said that to somebody, they said, "Is there another Burrow down there?" And I said, "Only in the stands, maybe." So yeah, they're tough.
I don't think Ryan Adams is the head coach anymore, though. Ryan, I think, was there during the Joe Burrow era.
Didn't he go over to OU as an assistant?
That I can't say.
There?
I don't know. Ryan was a fun coach to talk to and a good guy to get to know. All right, coming up in a moment, we'll focus on this week's game of the week, which is Hillsboro at Miami Trace. We will hear from the head coach of the Miami Trace Panthers, Jerry Williams, when we return with our next segment here on the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Mark came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc. Minimally invasive spinal surgery got him back to what matters most. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, serving Central and Southern Ohio for more than 4 decades. Give them a call for your needs at Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Litter Quality Propane, where there's no bill when there's a fill. Contact Litter Quality Propane today about our metered gas service at litterpropane.com. Happy to have Jerry Williams with us, head coach of the Miami Trace Panthers, here on the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show. You've got a Hillsboro team coming to your place this Friday night, and they had a big offensive output this past Friday in a win over East Clinton, 65 points and, almost 500 yards offense. And that probably has you concerned right from the start, doesn't it?
Without a doubt, they are a talented football team. They record may only be 2-3, but they're very dangerous 2-3. Every game that they've played and lost, that they've been in within a touchdown of winning the game. They've either been ahead and lost it at the end or whatever. There's been circumstances, but they're a very dangerous 2-3 team.
And they had a little bit of success last year as well, and I think they've built off of that quite well.
Yes, they certainly have. And, we went into their place last year and, we didn't play well and did, put ourselves in a position where we were trying to win the game with the field goal at the end of the game and just came up short.
So let's talk a bit about Miami Trace. Last time we saw you was at Logan Elm, came away with a victory, had a nice close to the first half, but then the second half, you guys flexed your muscle and made some things happen.
Well, it's funny. I mean, that was a strange weekend for, that we were delayed to the next day, and, they had an opportunity to see our offense and kind of make adjustments overnight. So we had to do other things differently, and it took us a little bit to adjust to what their offense was giving us and what what they were doing defensively, and so we could have some success. But we were able to change things around, and they were, again, Logan Elm's a good football team, and we had to play a good game in order to beat those guys.
Now, that was a couple of weeks ago. What has been going on with your team since?
Well, we've had a good week against Western Brown last week. Western Brown, is a very talented offensive team, and they certainly have a lot of athletes. We went into the game and with the game plan to control the offense or control their offense with our offense and kind of slow it down a little bit. But, due to some injuries and so forth, some things that had happened, we had to make some adjustments. And we were very fortunate to have, the talent that we have at quarterback and on the edges to spread it out and do what we needed to do to get on the edges. But, fortunately, we were able to come out on top, and we certainly didn't want to get into a full court press or full court up and down basketball game with those guys. They're dangerous, that's for sure.
You referenced Trey Robinette. We saw him first as a sophomore, and he was pretty decent as a sophomore, but man, he has put it all together for this year, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's worked very hard in the off season, and he's a kid that I really would like, from a selfish standpoint, for his perspective, I really would like to see him get some more attention from the collegiate level. But I mean, he is certainly good enough to play at the next level at a very high level, and he's playing very well, and he's able to elevate the guys around him. He does a great job.
That's the kind of quarterback you kind of wish you could have for longer than 4 years.
That's for sure. I mean, I'm happy to have him 3, but I hope he's able to, like I said, be able to continue to play after this year, and I'm sure he will somewhere. But he has certainly made the guys around him better, and that's the kind of leadership you want on your football team.
And the skill positions for you, from what I've seen, they can do just about anything required of them, and that may be, hey, I need you to get down the field, and Robinette's going to put the ball in the air to you, and you better be there.
Well, we've done a number of different things. We had, we were fortunate enough to be able to go between the tackles. We're fortunate enough to be able to spread it out. We kind of take what the defense will give us, and we have some very good, very good talent on the edges. Gage Stuckey has been playing very well. Obviously, Cooper Enix has been playing very well, and definitely, Julian Baker has been playing very well if we're handing him the ball. So we can do a number of different things, and we're fortunate enough to have that talent. We just have to, just like any team at this time of year, you just have to keep everybody healthy, and that's the struggle.
And that talent also, like many teams have, goes both ways. I mean, those kids will flip right over and play defense just as well they have been playing offense.
Yeah, and we have to. I mean, it's. They are good enough to play both ways. We do the best we can to kind of spread it out and try to utilize athletes on one side for the most part, and let other people play on the other side. But when it gets down to the nitty gritty and you have to get your best men on the field, we will certainly do that.
Yeah. Before we let you go, I'd like to get just a quick thought, because there's a lot of coaches that are now going into week 3 of their conference season. The FAC, with the short number of members, you play a half season, then boom, you jump into your conference season. That's truly two halves for a season, right?
Well, we certainly look at it, in 3 different ways. I mean, one, we're looking at our off season, our non-league schedule. We look at our conference schedule, and then we're looking at postseason. So, we look at it that way. I mean, so it gives us a chance to, once we get through this, I mean, this non-league schedule was pretty rough. I mean, there were some talented football teams that we had to get through. And, now we're looking at our conference schedule, and we always have targets on our back when they want to play Miami Trace and when we get in the conference schedule. So we're going to get their best. We expect to get their best, and we will, we'll look at, we play Hillsboro Friday night, and then we certainly have to start breaking down the talented teams that we play after that in the conference.
Yeah. And if anything, who knows, Western Brown could have easily been an FAC team this year. I think their non-conference game has been against every FAC opponent they have.
Yes, and they've been doing that over the last couple of years, and they certainly have, and they've had some success against us, and we, like I said, I was glad to see that we could match up with them this year, and we did last year as well. But they're a scary team to play, and just simply because they can put so many points on the board.
And that prepares you for the scary teams you face the rest of the season. So,
yes.
Jerry, thank you so much for your time. We will see you Friday evening.
All right, Dan. Thank you.
Jerry Williams, head coach of the Miami Trace Panthers. More of the Litter Media Game of the Week preview show coming up next.
Our financial lives have never been more complex, and some decisions just can't wait, which is why our K&B Mobility app gives you instant access to the financial tools you need wherever you are. Get a clear picture of all of your accounts, check your daily transactions, receive account alerts, and much more. So no matter where you are or what you are doing, you can make the best decisions for you and your financial goals. Download our Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
At Country Clipper, pride runs deep. We take pride in knowing our mowers help create a space for families to make memories. That our features transform mowing into an enjoyable experience. Most importantly, we take pride in knowing the decision to purchase a Country Clipper will be one you can be proud of for years to come. Country Clipper zero-turn mowers.
Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.
And we'll be announcing who that Player of the Week is in one of the segments coming up on this show. So stick with us here in just a bit. Reflecting back on the conversation with Jerry Williams, like he said, we cannot take this Hillsboro team lightly. And you've done some research on Hillsboro. We'll look at that. And they put up almost 500 yards offense last week in their win over East Clinton. Was it 65 to nothing? 65 to zip. So that gives you a bit of a roll coming in, but you've got to face a team like Miami Trace, which put up 56 points last week.
Right. In fact, that the two common opponents that they have to this date is Western Brown. Mm-hmm. Hillsboro lost to Western Brown in the season opener 42-39, so they lost by 3. Last week, Miami Trace beat Western Brown 56-49. So pretty close there. Hillsboro at 2-3 on the season. They have scored 198 points this year. They've given up 124. Miami Trace has scored 175 points and have given up 123. So Hillsboro's only given up 1 point more than what Miami Trace has on the defense. A number of Hillsboro's roster, we remember seeing them last year in the broadcast that we had at Chillicothe, which was a very tight game, but Hillsboro pulled it out down the stretch. Ryan Burns, he's a running back, a senior. We can remember him. Mason Dumpert, he's the quarterback. He's a junior this year, but played last year as a sophomore. Receiver Nick Burns, a senior. Zach Brown, a receiver, a junior. Landon Jordan, a junior. Running back Jashawn Captain and Jevon Hawkstall. One of the videos that I saw this year, I think it was Williamsburg. I think he scored 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game, but I remember him last year being one of their main featured backs out of their running attack.
Speaking of Hochstel.
Hochstel. Trey Captain and Malachi Aber, some familiar faces. Dom Smart, who's a senior running back from last year. So those are some kids that we remembered seeing last year. But 2-3 overall, but importantly, this is the season opener in the FAC for everybody in the Frontier Athletic Conference Friday night.
We were unable to connect with Coach Nathan Horn of the Hillsboro Indians. You take a look at our YouTube channel, you can go back and see the highlight package from their bout with Chillicothe last year, in which they had an exciting overtime victory at Chillicothe High School. We visited with Coach Horn after that contest, so you can find out more about last year's team by seeing that. But a lot of those kids are back, as you mentioned. And this past Friday in the win over East Clinton, Nick Burns had a kickoff return for a touchdown as well. So they've got kids that can do it on special teams as well. For Miami Trace, the kids that stand out to me, Trey Robinette. Here's a kid that when we were seeing them play Logan Elm, you and BJ Daly were both excited because you're going to see two experienced quarterbacks going at it. And Trey, he ruled that second half. They gave up a touchdown to Logan Elm in the second half, but outside of that, he managed not only the clock, but also field position to make things happen. Cooper Enix is a big-time player. He can hit you out of the defensive side, and he can catch the ball and run with the ball coming out of his fullback position. Gage Stuckey made some nice catches, and Sky Salyers, though, he's got some wheels behind him, and he can, when he catches that ball in the open field, watch out. He can take off. So this
don't
is going to
forget the Pancake King, Adam Guthrie, from Miami Trace on the line.
And when you say Pancake King, you think to yourself, okay, he eats a lot of pancakes. Well, not only eats those, but he also lives by making pancakes, and that is putting them on their backside. 6'7", 300 pounds, and
already getting Division I offers, including Florida State.
Yeah, impressive.
And he's just a junior.
Yeah.
He's just a kid yet.
Just a kid.
You know, I didn't get BJ and I were not able to come back when you finished that Miami Trace Logan Elm game on Saturday morning. But what little bit we saw, the 2.5 minutes of the game Friday night before they suspended it, in that opening drive, Miami Trace didn't run on his side of the ball but once.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it was like a decoy because everybody thinks you're going to go over there, and you were – maybe Logan Elm was shading defensively too much to that side, so Trey said, we'll go over here, and they moved the ball right down the field.
Well, and as Jerry alluded to, they had a chance to see their offense, and then came the rains and the storm. It stopped everything. They were short of the goal line at the 3, and then when we resumed action, everybody lined right back up there, and there was an offside penalty on Logan Elm. So that moved them a little closer to the goal line, and they punched right up the middle again. And so, yeah, maybe a decoy, but in the same respects, if you don't pay attention to him, chances are they're going to run behind him and have open room to roam.
And with the remnants of Hurricane Helene coming through here Friday night, this could be another wet game, which for a throwing quarterback, you got to adjust to that wet ball that you're trying to throw. But Robinette's a tall kid. He's got long fingers. It's a little bit easier for him to grip that ball. I think if I remember the Dumpert kid for Hillsboro, it seems like he's like 5'10", 5'11", something like that. So.
And the forecasters are saying we could have 35 to 40-mile-an-hour winds. Right. So if you are heading into that wind, chances are you're not going to be throwing the bomb.
So could be in it, but they're on artificial surface at Miami Trace. So we'll see how it pans out.
Please, Lord, no lightning.
Yeah. Just let us get the game.
Let's put that in now. All right. Coming up in a moment, we'll take a look at our Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. That's coming up next.
As a professional race car driver, I live for speed, power, and performance on and off the track.
All right, well, here we go, baby. Wall on your left, 3 to your now, like hard left. Get on the gas. Going for the win. There you go.
That's why I use the Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower. Race into your local dealership today and test drive a new Dixie Chopper.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Serving our area for more than 4 decades, Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. If you click on any ad on our website, you'll find more information. AccurateHVAC.com.
Find a career you love with Pickaway-Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway-Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Lime propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
All right, it is time to release the information that we have selected for this week's Litter Media, Neil Coleman Insurance, Wyandotte Mutual, Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And that is Kira Archer. This kid kicked in 7 goals the other night.
In one match. And that sets a new record for Chillicothe High School. She sits now at 30 goals on the season. The single season record for Chillicothe, according to Zach Breath, is 33. That was made just a couple of years ago by, forgive me, the last name is Ursuline, and I can't remember her first name. My many apologies to the Ursuline family.
Addie Ursuline.
Thank you very much.
How do you know
On top of that,
I
Mr.
was in Young Life with her when I was in high school.
Is that right?
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Nick's little sister. One of his little sisters. So she's on pace to reach 100 goals at some point in time here during her career. But congratulations to Kira Archer picking up our Player of the Week award. Pretty cool. Where do we go from here?
It's cool. We have a ball game we're going to be doing Friday night on Litter Media Radio.
Yes.
Miami Trace hosting Hillsboro in the FAC opening week. So, we've talked about it before. There's only, 6 teams in the conference. So they have to play a lot of non-conference games before they can get into their league schedule, and that happens this Friday night.
You were asking about Western Brown earlier, and I did take a look.
What league they're in?
I don't know what league they're in, but I can tell you who they play. And that is the likes of Batavia, New Richmond, Clinton Massey, Goshen, and Wilmington. I think there may have been another conference. For instance, Wilmington was in the old SCOL, which the league is still around, but I don't think it's playing as the SCOL. But that's what Clinton Massey and Wilmington were a part of. So I'm, to be honest with you, I can't tell you what the... But they played Hillsboro, Washington, Chillicothe, Jackson, and Miami Trace.
I think Chile lost to him 17-7. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And scored first, and then.
So really, McLean's the only FAC team that they didn't play.
The kid that was the real good quarterback down there a few years ago, I don't know where he ended up going to school.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
College, but they were highly.
He's a kid that reminded me physically of Tim Couch. And saw him play Jackson in a back and forth game at Waverly High School a few years ago. So
playoff game.
Yeah, but I've lost contact as to where he ended up going to school. We'll have to research that, I guess. Maybe Mr. Hand 2 will get on top of that.
I doubt it.
Our crack researcher. Well, that's it for the program today. Thank you so much for watching. And those of you who are listening on Litter Media Radio, the kickoff is coming up here shortly, so stick close for that as well. With our Litter Media Game of the Week preview show, Hillsboro at Miami Trace. For Mike Smith and Mr. Hand 2, I'm Dan Ramey. Thanks for watching. and listening to our Litter Media Game of the Week preview show.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When insuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Pain was interfering with Tiffany's active lifestyle. Same-day hip replacement at the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute got her back to the community she calls home. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good. Each week, we'll announce the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union. And in December, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Nominate any amateur athlete by visiting littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. You'll also see the players we've named throughout the year. Make your nomination today for the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Litter Media Player of the Week, presented by Homeland Credit Union.